That is the exact same way. Because the same thing I say is this is a core thing. Men have strong boundaries around your pockets the same way women have strong boundaries around their bodies.
All right, guys, go and check out this compilation video. Here we go.
I will never be with a man that wants to go 50-50 because that's not the type of lifestyle I want to live with a man. I could literally just be by myself and take care of myself 100%.
Oh God.
I'm not going to put myself in a position where someone's going to tell me that I have to bring home X amount of money and do these things to be with them.
Like,
I will
are you
just
my
be
pimp?
the fuck alone. But then that upsets you guys. Oh, well, you should want to help your partner. You should want to do this. You do what's right for you and I'll do what's right for me. And it's not hard to find a man that is more than willing and happy to take care of financial responsibilities.
You know what's funny about these videos? They're overtly telling you who they are, right? If they're telling you who they are, believe them. Now, if you were older, back in the day, you didn't necessarily have the internet, TikTok, Instagram. So you had to learn things via trial and error, right? Just simply making mistakes. Experience was probably your best teacher kind of coming up, for guys that are older. And, you made an executive decision based on your judgment at the time. Come to find out once the ink dried on the contract, the marriage contract, she does a complete 180, right? The person that you thought you met is not the person that she actually is, right? She was just playing a character the whole time to benefit from the situation, right? That's kind of what happened back in the day. But now with the internet and social media, you're really seeing who some of these model women really are. Okay, frankly, they're just telling on themselves, right? The best way to figure out who a woman is nowadays, generally speaking, is to look at her social media, right? Look at her social media. What's her ideologies? What type of content is she posting? What is she subscribed to? So on and so forth, right? The photos that she's posting. It's not hard to tell. Take the information and move accordingly.
Any woman who says that a man is stingy is a woman who does not know how to respect a man's boundaries. And I'll repeat that again. Any woman who says that a man is stingy is a woman who does not know how to respect a man's boundaries. That is the exact same way. Because the same thing I say is this is a core thing. Men have strong boundaries around your pockets the same way women have strong boundaries around their bodies.
Yeah, I mean, your body, your choice, my wallet, my choice, right? So I just find it fascinating when these modern women who whine and complain at the fact that men want to be responsible with their money, right? They're gonna call you stingy and broke because you don't want to spend your money on a self-entitled chick. So don't be bullied and shamed into spending money to make them feel special. Okay, there should be reciprocity. Let's be clear, reciprocity in these situations. Okay, it should not be a one-sided situation. And yeah, like I said, you shouldn't be shamed into spending money for a woman to like you. Okay, that should not be anywhere in your vocabulary or in your thought process in regards to getting to know a woman. Because, hey, if you do lead with your wallet, it may end like this.
See, this right here is just why the dating market is just so bad right now. Regular guys, fellas, even me, 6'8", about to be a multi-millionaire, doctor, huge platform, hardworking, intelligent man. I can't even get a woman to cook for me. All these things I did for her. It's like, and I only knew this girl for like 10 days, bro. And I ain't tripping or anything, but it's just like, it's crazy. I put this out there to let you guys know that it's across all men. What are you bringing to the table? What I've done all of this, and what have you done for me? You can't even make me a meal. But it's just, it's incredible, man. It's just ridiculous.
All right, so let's analyze this situation. He's 6'8", black doctor. Okay, shout outs to him and his success, trending to become a multimillionaire. And yeah, according to him, the dating market is extremely difficult. So let's read the caption here. You took me out to eat twice. Okay, so took her out to eat twice. Invited me to your house. Okay, so you invited her over, bought her flowers, gave her $200 to get her nails done. And now she's saying, because of that, should I start cooking? right? So she's basically saying, hey, you did all of this for me. It ain't good enough. Why should I start cooking for you? Okay, so he can't even get a sandwich out of the deal. And he's shelling out a whole bunch of money. 6'8" guy, black doctor, multi-millionaire, and can't even get a sandwich out of these chicks. So it seems like, he led with his resources. And when I say his resources, his money. He's known her for 10 days. Okay, let's say he gets her number day one. There's going to be a back and forth exchange, texts and phone conversations. So there might be a buffer of 3 to 4 days to get to know somebody and ultimately set up a date. So I'm subtracting 3 days from 10 days to be generous here. So you have 7 days to play with, and within those 7 days, he took her out to eat twice, bought her flowers, and gave her $200 to get her nails done. I'm just saying. So it seems like she was getting a lot of things in regards to his resources extremely quickly, right? So now when he's saying, hey, you can't make me a sandwich, like, what's going on here? Where's the reciprocity in this situation? Now she has a problem with it, right? Because she's basically saying, yeah, all that stuff that you did for me, that was light work. That was slight work, right? That meant absolutely nothing. So I do want to take a look at the comments here. This first comment says, all these things I did equals barely anything. So you have modern women walking around here, not even treating this as a bare minimum. A dude taking you out to multiple dates, flowers, nail money. According to these modern women, it's barely anything, right? That's their words here. Next comment says, there are women that will cook for you because you give them money. They are called chefs. Hire one. Hire one. So that's what these modern women are saying. Hire a chef. Hire a chef, right? All these dates that you're taking me on, hookah and crab legs, bottomless mimosas, flowers, okay, chivalry, the things that modern women boo, whine, and complain about. Nail money. Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, don't worry about that, right? You want a sandwich? You want a bologna sandwich? Peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Hire a chef. Hire a chef. So, 2 takeaways here. Don't lead with your wallet, and don't deal with self-entitled chicks.
Don't get mad when I say this, bro, but I'm going to tell y'all as a swerker, bro. I'm a 304, a dancer, or whatever, right? Listen, don't dress for the attention that you do not want, okay? You need to dress the part. Because when you're out here wearing poster girl outfits, you're looking like me. What I do is I get money from dudes, you feel me? From being sensual and just using my looks and all of that. You feel me? Why do you want to do that if you don't want to be treated like that?
Modern women are so far gone when you have 304s being the voice of reason, right? You have 304s, and hey, shout outs to her for keeping it real. But you got women out here that are basically saying, you're looking like me. All the lingerie that you're wearing, going to Walmart, yeah, you're looking like me / you're taking my clientele. I'm just saying. So, it's just interesting how far these modern women have fallen.
If you don't like the girls that walk the corner or dance on the poles, why do you want to look like one? Why do you want to act like one? Don't you want to be treated like a Michelle Obama? So look like one. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to look the part. Like, for example, if I get a BBL and I go work in Dollar Tree, y'all going to say, why do you have a BBL when you should be working in the club and all of this stuff? Like, you working at Dollar Tree or you working in the school with a BBL. Like, what's the point of that? You see what I'm saying? So when I wear these giant heels outside to the club, you think I'm supposed to work at the club, right? Not be in attendance at the club. Why are you guys walking around outside with less clothes than I wear? That doesn't make sense. Why are you guys walking outside with your zebra cakes? I'm saying zebra cakes because we see the stretch marks and everything. We see the Tootsie hairs. We see everything. And you don't want to be treated like me? I'm sorry, but it just needed to be said from someone that you guys were going to listen to it from. Because, like, when the men say it, I know, like, men be yapping, so we shouldn't listen to them. But, like, this is something that actually makes sense that they actually say. Like, this one, they actually hit the nail on the head with this one.
She's basically saying there's no difference when you're looking at the physical appearance between myself and a model woman just walking the street. Just walking the street, because we're wearing the same thing. We shop at the same stores. We're wearing the same shoes. What's the difference? Right? But again, I mean, if you think about it, a lot of these model women are just begging for money, right? They're seeking for male attention, right? Male validation. And they're trying to extract and extrapolate resources from men. Right. The only difference is this woman in the video is saying, hey, I'm a 304, this is what I do. She's dancing. Okay, so I'm assuming she's doing it in a club. She's doing it in some sort of establishment. And these model women, the typical model woman, they're doing it online, right? They're having TikToks and making provocative Instagrams and using social media to leverage their physical appearance and attraction for money. So when you think about it, what's the difference?
Why women in their 30s are undateable according to men. So I've been doing my research on all the struggles in the dating world, changes in behaviours, why we're stuck in our 30s, still single and struggling to find anyone. So here's an article I found, and I'll link it for you if you want to read it yourself. So, single women in their 30s are apparently leftovers. So in this article, a girl interviews her friend. So he's a so-called 1%er. So, tall, loads of money, really good looking. And he says he can't find a woman worth marrying. When she asks him why women in their 30s are still single, he says, and there's more studies and research and men backing this up, that we're desperate, entitled and set in our ways. We're rushing before we age out of the dating market. And then he says the other reasons that we're undateable is because we're too independent, too career focused, we've got baggage from past relationships, we're too picky, and we've got that biological clock pressure. That one's true. So basically being self-sufficient, knowing what you want and not tolerating red flags makes us intimidating and not attractive.
And that right there is the problem, right? You literally read what he said. And for whatever reason, she internalized that and made it about him being scared and intimidated by women, right? These are the mental gymnastics that these particular model women play.
We're not undesirable, unattractive, undateable, but we're not single because we're unattractive or undesirable, but because we spend our 20s and even our 30s doing things that matter. So building a career, maybe setting up our own business, maybe healing from terrible past relationships, trauma, or maybe we're just like spending time on our own, learning and figuring out who we really were. I spent 10 years of my 20s completely single, and it was the best time of my life because I got to know who I really was before I introduced myself to anyone else. But that doesn't mean that we're masculine, unattractive. It doesn't mean that we should have missed the boat, and it definitely doesn't mean that we're leftovers.
Yeah, so she had 10 plus years of no relationship experience, right? So her relationship muscles, her or women that think like her, they've weakened, right? They have no relationship muscles, no relationship skills that would make sense to a man that's built himself up, right? Because this particular woman here is basically saying that she followed her career, which is cool, right? I'm not saying, for a woman, she can't have a career or work, but why can't you do two things at once, right? Like, why can't you chew gum and walk at the same time?
Some women in their 30s, and I confess I would have been like this too, have become rigid or maybe difficult. What this research is saying is that women in their 30s have become single and undateable because we're rigid, difficult, carrying extra emotional baggage, and then projecting that onto every date. And they're saying that that's not about age, it's about emotional maturity. And maybe for some women that is the case, but I know for myself and all my friends, all of us in our 30s actually are dateable. We're not undateable, we're unwilling to settle, and we've done the work, and we're looking for a man that's done the same, because we want depth, honesty, connection, emotional maturity, and that is not too much to ask for. That's just not what some men are willing or capable or able to meet. So make sure that you're not lowering your standards to be dateable, and make sure you're leveling up your energy, and then those who can't match it are disqualified. So what do we think about that research on why women in their 30s are undateable according to men?
All right, guys, so there you have it. So the coping is real. Okay, the coping pity party is real, because although she has the information and the research right in front of her, okay, the 1% men that majority of these modern women want, yeah, they're literally telling you, giving you the cheat code on what you need to do or what you should have done 10 years ago, right? And they're still in denial and playing mental gymnastics, okay, somersaults, cartwheels, and backflips, and trying to say men are the issue, right? Men need to be emotionally intelligent, right? There needs to be more depth there in a man for him to accept a strong, independent woman. Okay, you can't make this stuff up, but hey, let me know what you guys think about this one. Give me some feedback, and until next time.